r/askreddit. For the few that have actually read any terms and conditions, what sneaky things have you found? Thank you customer for actually reading our terms and conditions. Send us an email with the following content and we will send you a free box of chocolates. They did indeed send chocolate. Seriously? What company was this? Ctrl+F reading on every terms and conditions now. Or other keywords. Bad strategy. Someone will just spread the news and everybody gets chocolate. If you make money on TikTok, the owners can rightfully take the money. They can also use your videos in their advertisements without your permission, even if the videos are private. Cody Co had to deal with this. Apparently that's not even the worst part. It can use your microphone and camera without permission at any time, even when the app is closed. Which means they can watch everything you do. Even if you're a cool guy? Sony can sue you for literally not updating your console software if you're connected to internet. What? Would that really hold up in court though? I don't know if they changed it, but when you chose the fragile option in a mail system like FedEx, that didn't mean they would take special care of it, but that you admitted that it was fragile and therefore it could be broken without being their fault, leaving you unable to sue them for breaking your package or to ask any reimbursement. And of course, if you don't mark it as fragile and it breaks, it's still your fault for not letting them know that they should take extra care of it. What a joke. If you want to take Huawei to court, you have to take them to court in China. What they don't tell you is that it's near impossible for a foreigner to win a court case in China. That's typical of Chinese business. It's like how they will ignore all of your copyrights and patents, but if you infringe on theirs they will literally bring you down with lawsuits to the point that you may as well not exist. That is one of many reasons that I am a scared Australian who is slowly having the land around them and all of our farms and other assets purchased by China. Edit. I don't know how China ignores our parents. Also, who is China's parents? On Amazon, anytime they want they can't take away from me the books that I've bought on Kindle Store. It's the same with Steam games, but I hope that everyone who uses Steam was already aware of this. Edit. Since this is gaining traction, here's the specific line: the content and services are licensed, not sold. Your license confers no title or ownership in the content and services. This line isn't in the agreement to bully people because that would cost them their platform really quickly. It's in there in case they shut down or decide to ban you. But it's still in there. You don't own your Steam library. That's pretty much the case for anything you buy digitally these days, such as video games, movies, books. It's all a service and not actually yours. Edit. That's why I prefer hard copies as opposed to downloading anything from anywhere. GamerStation once made an Immortal Soul clause on April Fool's Day to prove that no one actually reads the terms and conditions. It read, by placing an order via this website on the first day of the fourth month of the year 2010 Anno Domini, you agree to grant us a non-transferable option to claim, for now and forevermore, your immortal soul. Double quote. The devil's in the details. Jokes on them. I already sold my soul. I had a Victoria's Secret coupon that said Canadians are required to pass a math question or test in order to be eligible for the discount. I think I still have it at my desk. My job in part is writing terms and conditions, agreements, and disclosures for the bank I work at, so I actually do read a lot of T&Cs in homage to the amount of time my colleagues in the field put into writing 18 pages of shit no one but examiners read. The Canadian math requirement is the strangest I've ever seen. That's actually required of them by Canadian law, which does not allow any gaming or lotteries that are not officially sanctioned. It's just a technicality. So if you answer the question correctly, you haven't won a gamble, you've earned the reward. WhatsApp, when it went full Facebook 4 years after purchase, sent out an Android update. The update said it was just adding the ability to give group chats a subheading. What it was actually doing was giving Facebook permission to take information. This option was enabled by default, of course it was, and you had only 3 months to notice this had happened before the option to opt out was disabled. I was late noticing this, but when I read the terms and conditions, the last line said something along the lines of, even if you opt out, Facebook and the Facebook family of companies will still take the data for training purposes. I undeleted my account. They probably had my info by that point, but fuck that shit. Installed Signal. As soon as FB bought it, I uninstalled. You just knew they were going to pull some shit like this. I've been using Signal for years and have a lot of friends, family that use it. Upvote for Signal and getting away from Facebook, but mostly Signal lol. In the hiring contract for the last company I worked for, there was a line buried on page like 22 that said if you email a certain email address on your first day saying you saw the line, you'll get a bonus day of PTO for the year. Did you get the bonus day? There was a story contest from a theme park where your story could be published. But any story submitted would automatically be owned by the company and could not be used by you or others. So they could. I wasn't the only one who noticed. It was soon pointed out on social media. There wasn't really a backlash, but I didn't submit a story. A guy from a webzine tried to get me to write review for him with a deal similar to that, all while saying that his Patreon was going strong and that he would maybe be able to pay writers within a year. The zine was gone in less than 6 months and he gave me shit for whoring out my music reviews for free rather than writing exclusively for him when I called him out for trying to take my writing away from me without even paying for it. Back in the day when people legally acquired new music by buying CDs, one of the bands I listened to would hide nice little messages to fans in the copyright legal fine print in the booklet that came with the CD. Sometimes there would be a small link to a hidden part of their website that had extra content. Pretty cool of them. What band albums? A while ago, 2011, there was a scam work from home service widely advertised all over Facebook and other places, promising enormous paychecks and a free trial. It was an opt-out subscription service as you might expect. Curious as to how the scam worked, I looked at their T&Cs. There was a clause in there requiring you to pay $10,000 in compensation to the company if you filed a chargeback against their fees. Whilst that would never stand up in court, dealing with debt collectors who might conveniently offer to settle for a mere $3,000 would be all sorts of hell. Nutriboom? Scams of this form make me more mad when I realize they would never work on wealthy people and are designed to prey on people with fewer resources. Even if they made one that wasn't specifically targeting people who are short on cash, the wealthy have so many more resources to protect their wealth. Obviously scams like this just shouldn't exist, but it's not a fun realization to see that people who want to make money are much better off targeting the poor and have very little to gain by targeting those who actually have money. Amazon's all service terms contain a clause pertaining to a zombie apocalypse. No, really. However, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence, certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain or nerve tissue and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. What was the restriction and what was it being applied to? It's really bold of them to assume it's going to be a viral infection and not any other mechanism that will turn us into zombies. A job schedule app my company uses requires you to log in using the company email. To set this up on your phone, you have to give your company the rights to erase the contents of your phone remotely, probably in case you become a threat to the company. No thanks. I remember a story years ago about this guy applying for a loan or credit card from his bank but asked to take the documents home and read over them and send them back a signed copy. He added clauses in the T&Cs that the bank had to pay him and if they wanted out of the contract they had to pay him some huge exit fee, signed the amended one and sent it back to them and they agreed to it without reading it. Not sure how true it is though. I was stoned and downloaded a mobile game some years ago and decided to read the terms and conditions. It was like 20 pages and mostly had to do with privacy and microtransaction stuff. In the back half a paragraph was the lyrics to Titus Africa. I can't remember the app, it was many moons ago I saw this. But it was supposed to be geared toward aspiring photographers and giving them exposure, and you could rate other photos and do challenges. Essentially the two said that anything you post is now their property that they can use for whatever they want, including making money off of it. 500px, maybe? At a gun range one time I saw that if I yelled out I love dogs my time and anything I buy is half price. I immediately did so, startling my best friend. That was awesome. The contractor job I had working in the desert warned about the frequency of alien attacks. I was disappointed to go a year and a half without any, though. Hey, how much is that scar H on the wall? $3,000. I love dogs. Fuck. As someone who had to get a privacy policy and read the thing, as far as I know I'm not allowed to use my own service. According to the legal agreement I got with myself and agreed to, in case I do know that I access the service against what's written in the privacy policy, I should contact myself by email letting me know that so I can erase any private data I got on myself. If I refuse to erase the data, I think I can sue myself. Send help. How do you handle GDPR if you're a brick and mortar store that only does sales in the US? You geo-block the rest of the world. Easy peasy. I didn't read this on the TIS but learned about it. Amazon apparently asked its users, do you want your voice data to be used for improving our future services? You'd think replying no would stop the transfer of voice data? No. It would only not be used for improving future services. They'd still be able to do with it whatever they were doing till date. Isn't this required so that they can translate the audio into text? Alexa doesn't process the speech locally. IDK if this is super surprising, but I read the entire lease for my first apartment and apparently, I couldn't get out of my lease even if I died. Might be so they have a claim against your estate for the remainder of the rent for the year. I had a clause like that in one of my leases as well. In an actual court challenge, that would likely be unenforceable. I'm a lawyer. Whenever undergrads tell me they want to go to law school, I tell them to read the entire iTunes terms and conditions, without skipping a single sentence. If they can't get through it, they don't have the discipline and attention to detail for law school. Fairly good test TBH. Apple really does not want people to use iTunes to build nuclear weapons. Something must have happened in the past for them to put that in, wouldn't you think? You also agree that you will not use these products for any purposes prohibited by United States law, including, without limitation, the development, design, manufacture, or production of nuclear, missile, or chemical or biological weapons. I know at some point Comcast was not responsible if it killed you. Haven't looked at it in years though, used to work for them so you get to learn the terms pretty quickly. Comcast is not responsible if, during an interaction with one of our experienced customer service representatives, the customer's cranial region ruptures or in any way combusts due to any number of medical factors. I'd sell my soul for a donut. Your soul is the legal property of Marge Simpson and not the devil's. While buying a train ticket in Russia, if the train breaks down, don't think of this as a way to get compensation. Consider it a part of the Russian experience. A friend of mine claims he actually read the whole Steam's terms and conditions. Apparently they can't take away games from your library whenever they want regardless of how much you paid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the games are essentially rented digital copies without a defined return date. Yeah, if you break their T&Cs somehow, for example cheating, or fraud or whatever, then they can rescind your account and everything that's on it. I think this is fairly well known, but most users seem okay with it. DeviantArt tools is basically a contract allowing them to print, reproduce, and profit from your art, if they so choose, without needing your permission or consent. Usually this takes the form of ads or contests, where they'll be used in public displays. If you post works that show a high level of technical skill, then you need to either sign it or use a big gold watermark. Things like this are pretty common on most art or picture websites. Not saying it's right, just that similar things are common. It wasn't actually me, it was the manager I was interning with. He told me about how it was important to read everything, even the terms and conditions. When you go to an iPhone's license page, or something else, I don't remember, it says that they won't take any responsibility to any shock you received from the phone if it were 5mm away from you, unless you had something blocking it from your skin, like clothes, or a pocket protector. Pretty sure anyone who ever played the original Diablo also agreed sold their soul to the devil in the terms and conditions. Oh my god. Those religious 90s moms were right. Someone posted on the Dubai subreddit yesterday that they had signed up for Amazon Prime trial in the UAE. Towards the end of the month they got the email that their free trial would end, and after that, Amazon will charge his account 12 ETH for a year, rather than 12 ETH every month for a year. He contacted Amazon and they agreed to honor it. Not totally related, but I heard on NPR recently that they can't really screw you over in any way by hiding some unfair clause in a long terms and conditions thing. It won't hold up in court, as it's unreasonable to expect people to read hundreds of pages of legal documents for downloading an app or something. Gym membership contract. One of the reasons that will not allow waiving your resignation fee is in case of a nuclear reactor core melting. Do employment agreements that force you to waive legal rights in favor of in-house arbitration count? I remember reading the Samsung terms and the conditions. They basically have full control over your phone. They can limit anything on your phone. You do not own it when you have a Samsung account on your Samsung phone. It was one of the ways they pushed out the Note 7. By disabling the battery from charging up to 100%, they kinda forced you to get a new one. I'm going to make a rant about this fucked up company. Faseep, the app that makes you look older that a lot of people have been using lately, basically says they can access everything on your phone and share it with whoever they want. I also used to use this popular tuning app that had similar TNC when I was learning how to play an instrument. I never actually got a tuner after that, so I haven't played since. After reading through all the comments here, I see no one has mentioned how useful this tip can be. If you're downloading some shady software, scroll through the entire TOS and find any checkboxes, then uncheck them. Usually for things like this. That's how various programs and malware will end up being downloaded without you understanding how, which is what will usually happen with people who are especially young or especially old. There will be something written in there like you agree that you would like to install Mega Super Saver Search Plus to your PC and set it as your default search engine with a pre-checked box next to it, leading to a lot of easily avoided problems. So yeah, scroll through and uncheck boxes when you're downloading something weird. You don't even need to read the terms, just be aware what could be tucked away inside them. Like this. And the mom cries out, "Why my computer says there's a virus? Why is this bar here? Why my computer got so slow?" Rakuten gives them free access to all your emails. Ancestry DNA owns your DNA forever and can do what it likes with it. I foresee Jurassic Park coming, but with people. When we registered our Samsung front-loading washing machine online, the terms and conditions stipulated something along these lines. Use of detergents not recommended by the manufacturer may cause malfunctions not covered under warranty. But there was no specific list of recommended detergents given, other than stating they had to be high efficiency, laundry detergent. This reads like an unethical pro-life tip for corporations. Say non-recommended products used with your product void the warranty, then proceeds not to make any recommendations. Nothing is my fault, and if anything bad happens, it's definitely your fault. Not TNC so much, but when I saw everything the Facebook app wanted access to on my phone, I just deleted it. I read on Reader's Digest that a woman was reading the fine print or a company pages long, and about halfway through, it read, "It pays to read," with directions to an email. She won 10,000. I was a kid, reinstalling Windows on the download because I killed the computer with porn yet again. Bored, was scrolling through the EULA. Couple fun things I found. Not super surprising, and I'm pretty sure it's been commented on many times before, but still interesting. If you're making a nuke and use Windows to aid that process, Microsoft can take away your Windows. Where? This one I didn't see before. I gotta wonder why they had to put that in there. Was there already an incident? Is Sun saying that they're not taking responsibility for their software if you are making anthrax dirty bombs with Windows, assuming you use Java? Man, that's not a great look for Java. I mean, I get discouraging terrorists, but I wouldn't do so through insinuation that your software is too unstable and buggy for them. Though I can understand why they'd put that in there. ftp.sys.append.edu/pub/veronet/microsoft/ie/help/veronet/eula.htm. Wanted to sign my kid up for cheerleading. Sat there and read the terms and agreement. said something along the lines of, "We are not responsible for any accidents that occur in the transportation of your child. My husband lost his brother in a school transportation accident and they initially tried to avoid the blame. So naturally that line gave us the heebie-jeebies and we just left. Turns out they were just a shady company all around." She now does cheer through her school. They're a whole mess in the states that they don't want cheerleading classified as a sport because then the governing body would be responsible for injuries caused as well as would lose its monopoly on equipment sales or something like that. It would also force the NFL and NBA to count their cheerleaders as professional athletes and pay them in accordance. Something that I wish I read was on Fabletics online store. Apparently if you make any purchase they automatically sign you up to their VIP program, which is a $50 per month subscription for VIP clothes. I made one purchase on their site, checked out like any other online store, and got my clothes a week later. 8 months go by and I notice a minus $50 taken out of my bank from Fabletics. I check my bank pretty often so I DK how I missed this, and it turned out to be a recurring payment for 8 months. I called their support line and explained to the guy that I never signed up for their subscription and I never even received any sign up confirmation emails or payment statements to know what was happening. He said I most likely signed up when I purchased my clothes 8 months ago because it's in their terms. It's like once you sign up they ghost you and take your money every month. It took a lot of frustration and refusal to hang up the phone until they finally said I can get a refund of my $400 plus that was just sitting in my VIP account. I was like, clearly I was unaware of this because from the past 8 months I haven't made any more purchases on your stupid site. Give me my money back. They finally refunded it all back. Fucking scammers. Don't buy shit from Fabletics. I still should leave an online review about it because after looking up Fabletics scam it seems to happen to a lot of people.